Hello, my name is Jeff. This is Castle Tutelage, your 2A self-defense network. Over the next 8 weeks on Wednesdays, I am going to be going over certain things, and we'll get to it, okay? I just want to point out that I am on Facebook now. If that interests you, I'm going to be trying to be a little bit more interactive in on Facebook. So go like us at 2A Self-Defense Law, and I would appreciate it if you just follow us and we go from there. Right now, I think I have about 6 or 7 people following me. I'd like to get that going a little bit longer. Okay, there's always there's always something out there. One of the fears that people have is that the law is too complicated. It is all these big books, and we can't really discuss it because it just gets me confused. You talk to people, but what we do is we help simplify it for those people. We break it down into the simplest terms possible, and we take the fear out of self-defense law, and we give you the confidence that if you ever do have a self-defense a use of force event, that you'll be confident that you'll be able to get through the legal hassles relatively easy. Okay. If you break down self-defense law, we've broken it down to this one paragraph here. Okay. If you know every sentence and every word of this paragraph, there is a greater possibility than not that you have a good understanding about self-defense law. And this is it. A person who, without fault, may use force, including deadly force, to defend against what they reasonably fear is an imminent, unlawful threat of death and great bodily harm, provided that there is no reasonable alternative to avoid it. That has all the 5 requirements: innocence, eminence, proportionality, avoidance, and reasonableness. If you put this, you guys, do yourself a favor. Copy this phrase down, put it in your wallet, read it once a month, and it will help you understand and illuminate. But you have to have the knowledge behind what these words actually mean. A person who has no fault may use force. What does that include? That is your innocent standard. Reasonable fear, again, that is the reasonable person standard, not only subjectively but objectively. Imminent, unlawful threat, the immediate threat here and now. It cannot be something in the past, it cannot be something in the future. And avoidance. It also talks a little bit about proportionality here, about deadly force. You can use deadly force in an imminent threat. You can, and avoidance, I described that a little bit. Some people are going, oh, my state has stand your ground, and I don't have to avoid it. I can stand here like a stubborn mule. Well, some states you can stand there like a stubborn mule. In other states, you cannot stand there like a stubborn mule, like Utah. Utah is considered a soft stand your ground state, where Texas is considered a hard stand your ground state. But if you are so pig-headed that you are not willing to close the door or walk away to avoid a deadly conflict, you're a fool. You may need to have to revisit if you really want to carry a gun or not, because if it's your mindset that you would rather stand there and protect your manhood compared to closing a door and getting out of the situation, you're a fool. Okay. Again, I want to go over this. A person who is without fault may use force, including deadly force, to defend against what they reasonably fear is an imminent, unlawful threat of death or great bodily harm, provided that there is no reasonable alternative to avoid it. Okay? When you're talking about books, we're talking about the total vast knowledge. When you're dealing with the 80-20 rule, 20% of the causes has 80% of the effects. This paragraph right here is 20% of the causes, and if you're using the 80-20 rule, it will cover you 80% of the time in use of force event. To me, it's going to be a little bit higher than that, okay? So what are we going to be discussing over the next 8 Wednesdays? I'm going to be discussing the 8 common issues in self-defense claims, okay? These are the things that when you do get into the system, if you do have a use of force event, these are the questions that the prosecutor are going to be going after you with. Your mindset. Did you provoke? What was the triggering event? Was it an immediate threat? Did you have reasonable fear? Did you have, and this is, the avoidance is just not duty to retreat. The avoidance is going to be a little bit more encapsulated into this. It's going to give what your intent is. So a lot of you guys out there have issues with avoidance. Oh, I'm not going to turn my back and someone will shoot you. Well, the law doesn't, even in standing ground state, duty to retreat states, the law isn't going to force you to turn your back for you to be shot in the back. Because if you can avoid it completely with no danger avoided, duty to retreat, and that's what duty to retreat is. That is what the law is saying. And then, did you use reasonable force? Okay, did you use too much force? I skipped de-escalation. De-escalation is a very important part of it because that is also about reasonable force. Did you go too far? Did the fight stop in the other person? I get a lot of comments, especially on one video, where the fight stopped and the people will know that it didn't because he was still alive. Okay, he was moving, he was twitching. Moving and twitching isn't an immediate threat of death or great bodily harm on your part. So over the next 8 Wednesdays, I'm going to be discussing this. If you do have any comments or questions, go ahead, put it in the comments below. I want to remind you guys that you can still go to Facebook, hook us up at 2A Self-Defense, start following us, start liking us. And again, if these are videos that you like and you want to give to your friends, sharing them, making comments on them is a great help to the channel. I think we had almost 170 new subscribers in the last 30 days alone. It's a lot because of you guys who are sharing these videos on other platforms, on Facebook or whatever. And let's help the Facebook out a little bit. Again, I have 7 subscribers, or 7 or 8, somewhere around there, and I'd like to get that going. All right. My name is Jeff. This is Castle Toolage, your 2A Self-Defense Network. I hope this helped.